Yo, what's up, people? It's the one back with more Wuthering Waves content. Now, joining me in this video is KURO. He's an upcoming gacha creator. I stumbled upon his video talking about the drama that's going on in the community. I'm sure all of you guys, if you're clicking on this video, you've probably seen it with the HOYOVERSE versus KURO games. I've touched on the topic in my last two videos because it's a big thing going on right now. So I wanted to invite him on the channel so we could have an in-depth discussion on the gacha war. Let's get it.
I feel like we've moved a lot away from this sort of toxic space in a long time since the Genshin days. Especially back in the day when Genshin was like extremely toxic. Like everyone was just basically battling each other. Tekton's talked about this a lot, especially how toxic the CC community was. But I feel like we're actually in a place where we can actually just come together and be able to actually push games forward rather than hold us back. And I think it's because we all realize that the developers are mostly the problem in certain games, and it's not really the players that are the ones causing all the problems when it comes to power creep or in regards to predatory tactics.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, I understand that this kind of elitism, gacha tribalism has been around for a long time. It's not just recent, it's been around for a very long time. But I think what kind of really sparked the emergence of this war that we're currently going on is the recent beef with power creep in HSR versus KURO game versus Wuthering Waves. I'm sure you've seen the tweet with Mr. Pokey basically blaming the players for it's like basically it's their fault for, you know, power creep being an issue. I already made my stance on this numerous times. I just don't think it makes sense. Obviously he stepped back and, you know, said that he's changed his mind. He thinks it's actually the company, but the fact he said that it was the players' fault in the first place was kind of concerning. But that statement sparked everything. And obviously he kind of leaned more into it, and then he was like on Twitter kind of rage baiting people. So many people fell for it, like saying things like Zenless Zone Zero has better combat than Wuthering Waves, etc., etc. So these kind of statements incited this war that's currently going on. And talking about power creep, I honestly feel like power creep is a natural occurrence of a gacha game. I understand this. The characters' powers are meant to increase over time. But what I don't like with power creep is when endgame content is locked behind a character, where you can't clear this endgame content unless you have this brand new character, and all the other units that you spent hundreds of dollars for are useless in this endgame content, so you need to get the new character. And this kind of cycle is what's going on in Honkai Star Rail, with older units being power crept and made irrelevant. You can't use them anymore in the current endgame. And it's like, I feel like in Honkai Star Rail, they just don't respect your time, your money, and, you know, players have a right to be mad. What's your thoughts?
I think it really stems from the developers on this one, especially with HOYOVERSE. I mean, you could see it easily when it comes to Genshin Impact. Every single character is involving something that you literally have to pay for. If not, you're not going to have that mechanic. When it comes to flying, includes traversal, or just overall game mechanics. But when it comes to Honkai Star Rail, I feel that in the beginning it was more about damage numbers. But now it's moving to the point that if you don't have this character, the rest of your teams will not function for the next, like, probably 5 versions.
And one of the things I loved in the beginning of Honkai Star Rail, I'm sure Saint Tontas said this and Tekton also said this, is that in the beginning of the game, it didn't even matter who you threw in your team. It's like you could just run characters based on characters who you enjoy their story. Like, the character didn't have to be meta. if you enjoy the character's design, their voice, you know, their backstory, you could run that character and main that character. Like I did that for Blade, and I was, because he's my favorite character in the game. But when they just make him irrelevant, make him useless in the end game, it's like, what's the point, you know?
That's a big thing, because when you think about the Fallout team, like I originally thought that the Fallout team was like the biggest mix and match of characters that you could do. But as things got closer, I realized, oh, now it's the most expensive team, because if you don't have this one, then this one doesn't work. And then if you don't have this one, this one doesn't work as well. So now it's just a bundle of what characters do you have and if they work together or not. That's basically it.
Yeah. And it's like, there's other ways that I feel like there's ways to offset, you know, if the, I know the company's main priority, number one, is making profits. I get that, but you need a happy community. You need to make sure you treat your players right, because let's be honest, if you don't treat the players right, they're gonna leave, play another game. Most of the time, that's what's normally meant to happen. But there is ways to offset this. Like we spoke off this recording about like skins. Like they could implement skins. They could implement, I don't know, stuff that doesn't actually, you know, punish you for spending your money. Like things that could improve your quality of life. But they,
a lot of those things we've heard before, though. Don't you think? We've heard this time and time again in many other gachas, where the main mechanic doesn't need to necessarily be the gacha system. You have so many things you can include, including improving the battle pass. I know a bunch of people that if you slap the premium skin in a battle pass, everyone's buying it every version. I know it for a fact.
Yeah.
We originally thought that's what KURO was going to do with their version, but they actually end up just giving it away for free. And that's kind of like a crazy mechanic, because KURO is just really that generous. But if they would have included the premium skins into the battle pass, I'm pretty sure every single person would have bought it.
Yeah, like look at Marvel Rivals. Everyone said Marvel Rivals before it came out. Everyone said Marvel Rivals was gonna fail and they weren't gonna make any money, because every character in the game is free. There's no paywall to access any characters. But their system that they implemented is skins. So every character is gonna get so many skins, and that's how they make their money. And it's been successful so far, you know.
I mean, I bought a skin yesterday, the brand new Spider-Man skin that came out. That thing was so cool. I had to get it because I played the original Spider-Man games, and I knew that making connections with other games is a good way to promote a product. Like, for instance, if you include those drip marketings that they do inside their Twitter, especially like the Pizza Hut collab and also the other different collabs they have going on, those things will bring more revenue straight to the actual game, because it's something that you're able to promote really easily.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, I feel, you know, with KURO games in general, I'm not gonna say Wuthering Waves, because I've recently been playing Punishing Grey Raven, so I really understand. I have the full KURO games experience, and it's not, and I'm just letting you guys know, TLDR, I have played all the Genshin games. I've played ZZZ, I've played Genshin, I've played HSR at length. So I've played both. Like I've experienced both sides of the coin. So I know what I'm talking about when I say that KURO games treat players way better than HOYOVERSE. That's just a fact. It's an undeniable fact. They're more free to play friendly. There's no power creep. Old units are still viable. End game. I was talking with Life about this. It's like, this is what kind of opened people's eyes to how bad the monetization in gacha games is. You know, with how, you know, a character you pull day one is still usable 7-8 months later down the road. You know, reliable currency every week coming in. You know, it's like listening to the community. It's like KURO games are doing it right. That's why, you know, I feel like KURO games are at the forefront of the gacha scene. They may not be the biggest company, they might not be bigger than HOYOVERSE right now, but I feel like they have the people. That's what I think.
But that's the thing, like, it's coming to a point where a game could literally die the next day. If we could see it in Genshin. Genshin's literally dying day by day as new titles release. And what's to stop Honkai Star Rail from dying? The player count, the popularity. Genshin was the biggest thing on earth 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And even now, people are starting to realize, oh, there's other games out there. So as these other games are coming out, what's to stop them from doing the tactics that KURO has been doing? What's to stop them from treating the players better and bringing all the revenue from players who are willing to spend on the game rather than forced to?
You know, and it's like, when you speak on the situation, like I've done in multiple videos, or when like someone like Life does on Twitter or in his videos, it's like you get hate mobbed by people who is, I think I spoke about this with Life. It's called sunken cost fallacy. So basically, people who spent, you know, thousands of dollars on Honkai Star Rail to E6 or 5 their favorite unit, only for the next patch for that same character to be power crept by a E0 or 0 unit. It's like they feel, I don't know what the right word is, but they feel insecure about the fact that they spent that money and that money is made null and void because they basically wasted it on a character that's irrelevant. So because they wasted their money, they want everyone else to be unhappy, and their game has to be the best.
Forced time sunk fallacy. It's like forced time sunk fallacy. Like,
yeah,
the amount of time you spend on a game in hopes to get something in return, and then now you're forced to just get rid of all that.
Yeah.
Now it just doesn't matter. It sits in the back. Just like my Warframe account. I played Warframe for years, and as much as I love Warframe, my account really just sits on my desktop for a long time. I open it from time to time, I look at my characters, and I close it again.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like people need to accept criticism because that's how things can improve. Whether it's anime, whether it's games, whether it's business, whether it's hell, even in real life situations. If you want something to improve, if you want your relationship with an individual to improve, you criticize that person, tell them, look, you need to fix up, they improve, become a better person. If you let's say in an anime, they're doing something wrong with the anime, as a community you stand together, speak up, and you know, anime gets improved. In a game, like KURO games, speak up, problem gets fixed. In a business, if you know the business is doing some bad practices or whatever, you speak with your wallet. You speak with your wallet. You refuse to spend and support them if they're doing something wrong, and the business will change and improve. But I feel like with HOYOVERSE, I don't know what it is. It's like people are under a trance or something, but they continue to spend even when they're being treated poorly. Even when there's clearly bad practices. Like, I'm sure you've seen the thing with the latest banners in Genshin, the double banners.
Yeah, I've seen the thing. That's just a predatory tactic. That's too much in the Gacha community, especially for free to play players. That they're not even thinking about that. Like, at that point, it's just something like a big brick wall heading your way.
Yeah, and it's like people. And the thing is, I don't know what it is. People pretended to be outraged. When that came out about the double banner thing in Genshin, people were outraged on Twitter, like, oh my god, how could they do this? Even creators were like, oh my god, how could they do this? Then 2 days later, they made videos saying I or 6, or I don't even know the way dupes are called in Genshin, but I can't remember. But they basically maxed out the character and their weapon 2 days after they complained about how it was predatory and all this. So it's like, if you're gonna stand on business, stand on business. Don't support these bad practices, because, and I'm speaking to some content creators as well, man, because content creators be promoting the hell out of spending all this money, and then they pretend to be outraged. It's like fake outrage. They pretend to be outraged because their community is outraged, and then they just continue to give them thousands of dollars 2 days later. And it's like, I don't know. If you want change in your game, speak with your wallet. That's the only way that the company's gonna listen. Like, look at ZZZ. They did not want to change shit until people stopped spending, stopped playing, and then look, the game is easily. I say ZZZ is the best HOYOVERSE game right now.
It is. I literally did a review on this on my recent video that I actually gave ZZZ another shot. I went back and I replayed the game. And I played the new story and the new events, and it's a completely different game. Like, I can't even really compare it to 1.0 because It's just that much fun. Like it really it is. And I really thought that ZZZ was gonna be a dead game, but
Yeah.
it just surprised me that they actually came back.
Yeah, and you know what they did? You know what the people did? Just stopped playing. Stopped playing, stopped
That's
spending.
true. A lot of people just dropped the game. I know a lot of people who literally like, okay, maybe it's just not my taste. They dropped the game, but it ended up just becoming where the game's actually just not good, and then people just drop the game. And then when they realized that they literally lost almost 90% of their player base, they just started. Well, I don't want to encourage this too much, but they started gooning out the characters, making them more sexualized, and also improving a lot of events. I guess that's leading into like the male community, especially when it comes to gacha games being really targeted towards males.
Yeah.
That's like the whole originality of what a gacha game is. I mean, like we all know that from the very get-go of what gacha games were created for.
Yeah.
But yeah, they really leaned into that because we don't really have a lot of games like that that really fully lead into that type of game.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, if you want change, speak with your wallet, man. I always say this all the time. But it's like, I genuinely let me ask you this: Do you ever see this war ending between gacha games, this gacha tribalism, so to speak?
That's like saying our war is gonna ever end in real life. Like it's really not.
Yeah.
And that's all down to the players because you're always gonna have someone who says one thing and then they do another, and they're gonna do that over and over and over again. And even if they're like a small part of the community, they really make up for a big part of like the stuff that shows up on your feed. Like that's the thing I talk about media tactics. Like,
Yeah.
especially with the LGBTQ and anything like that, the drama related to news, that is such a small portion compared to the overall community that actually is a part of it. And it really sets a bad tone for the whole community. I had a friend who had not ever played a single gacha game in her life. And I laid down 3 games for her: Honkai Star Rail, ZZZ, and Wuthering Waves. I asked her to try each game and then let me know which one she liked. She ended up sticking with Wuthering Waves. She said it was a better all-around experience, and then now she plays it every single day. As a person who never played gacha games ever, she's having so much fun exploring the game.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I agree with you. These wars will never end because it's like, even with the upcoming games we have coming with Ananta, what's the other one? Arknights, Enfield,
Neverness Stubbornness,
yeah. It's like all these games are like, every game they're going to be compared to Genshin, they're going to be compared to Wuthering Waves, they're going to be compared to ZZZ, they're going to be
compared to themselves.
They're going to be compared to themselves.
Already versing Neverness Stubbornness.
Yeah, and it's like, you have people from these different communities, playing these different games, fighting each other, and you even have people playing the same game fighting each other. Like, I don't know if you saw Smack's video talking about how Fei Xiao is better than Firefly. I don't know if you saw that.
Pretty sure I did.
Yeah, basically on Pride Win they had Firefly ranked the same as Fei Xiao, and he was like, I think Firefly is good. I think she should be 0.5, not 0. and then in the comment section, people were like, why you, Firefly is good, why you hating Firefly? And then I think he said he bans like 100 people from that one video, and he went off on stream about it. It's like, people argue about the smallest irrelevant details. It's like, I could say, I feel like, in my personal opinion, I feel like Wuthering Waves has better combat than ZZZ. People will take that, be like, oh, why you hating on Hoyo? You're a KURO bot, you're this. It's like, people can't have opinions about games. Now, like, don't get me wrong, there's a difference between opinions and objective fact. And
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
and the objective fact is that there is a very severe, bad power creep issue in Honkai Star Rail. That is just a fact. That's a fact. If anybody that's watching this video disagrees with me, instead of calling me a KURO bot, right now, load up your Honkai Star Rail account, do the MOC with both 1.0, make 2 1.0 teams.
They won't even get 1 star. They won't.
Use units only from 1.0 and standard units and clear the MOC. Do that, and then
the biggest sign is, like, you guys remember when Akron came out? And literally it said that she would never be power creep, that her eidolons literally set the bar for the game. Like, no one would out damage her. and not even like 2 to 3 versions later, she's already like 1 tier below the next roster.
At E0, by the way, it's like we're not considering like her with dupes is the equivalent of the latest units we have now at E0. It's crazy. It's like, so not even Eidolons can save you, because before that was the thing. That's the argument that people have now, is that okay, if you invest in one unit and you get their Eidolons for extra effects, it's like that unit can't get power crept. That's far from the truth. That is way far further from the truth.
We're not saying that these characters are bad. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
Our Acheron is an amazing character. I have Firefly and Acheron built to their peakest teams. I have the premium team E0S1, and they do full clear the whole game. But when you look at the newer units, there's zero cycling these hard modes. And I'm taking like all the way to the end of the waves to be able to finish clear my MOC and my pure fiction.
Yeah, and people think I'm glazing. People call me a KURO bot when I say Wuthering Waves have mastered a way to avoid having to power creep their game to make money. When I say that Calcharo is good in Tower of Adversity. Ling Yang, the worst unit in the whole game. You can use him in the end game content, and he's good. He's viable. He's really trash. And 4-star characters can clear the Tower of Adversity. You don't even need any of these new units that we have in Honkai Wuthering Waves, like Carlotta. You don't need her. I didn't even summon for her.
It really is a skill issue, because I own Carlotta. I own really good characters, but I am not really that good at Wuthering Waves when it comes to combat. I cannot full clear Tower Adversity with their weapon, and I see other people with less characters than me full clear, and I'm just like, wow. And it really is just a skill issue, because I'm admitting myself that I am a trash character when it comes to Wuthering Waves.
You know what's really embarrassing? I've spent over $1,000 on Wuthering Waves. I have characters with multiple sequences. I'm like, when Changli comes back, I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her sequence 6. And when Brank gets here, I'm gonna get him and maybe potentially get a sequence in him as well and get his signature weapon. And I have pretty much multiple characters with sequences. Is basically my point. And after spending all that money, I still can't clear Tower Adversity 30 out of 30. And it's like, I've seen people on YouTube, I've seen friends of mine who are running strictly free to play accounts, and they're able to 30 out of 30. I've seen people who don't even pull, who do a no pull account, they're able to 30 out of 30. And I'm there like, yo, I'm really trash. Even after spending all this money, I still can't clear. And it's like, some people with think about that, they don't even pull on a banner for the hell of it. They're still able to get better clears than me. And it's like, so it's possible to clear the in-game content with the free-to-play stuff and even the old stuff. So that's what I love about Wuthering Waves. The old characters aren't made irrelevant, so you can actually pull for your character that you enjoy, that kit, or it doesn't forget their kit. You just enjoy their design, their backstory, you pull for them. Like, for example, Calcharo. I was joking with Life about the fact that I have an unbuilt Zhang Liao sitting in my box right now because
I do too.
Because I have an S3 Calcharo, and he's the GOAT. Calcharo is the GOAT in my opinion. I'm still waiting on his companion quest. Hey, Calcharo lives matter, but listen.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And things would be bearable if Honkai Star Rail was improving their story and improving new mechanics in the game every single version, and especially in 3.0. I have been playing 3.0, and I have the same feeling as Techie right now, that 3.0 doesn't feel like a 0.0 version as Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves, I literally cried during 2.0. I cried because I literally felt like I was playing a different game. Like, it felt like as if we finally got to a point where we were being appreciated as a community. Like, they brought things just for us to enjoy rather than just to get our money, and that's literally how it felt.
Yeah. Let's, like, before we close off, I want to talk about the story for story, man. Like, it's not even close, man. I know that I think Techie put out a post talking about how Genshin's story Genshin has the best story of a gacha game. I don't agree with that personally, but comparing HSR's story to Wuthering Waves story, I think it's clear that Wuthering Waves story is better. And I've played both. I feel like what I like about the story, right, is I prefer quality over quantity. So I don't want to play. I don't care if the story's 50 hours long. I'm not gonna sit through dog shit for 50 hours. I'd rather a story be 5 hours, snappy, short and sweet. Pause, and it gets to the point, rather than me sitting there for 50 hours and it's just mid the whole way through. That's basically what the 3.0 story was. It was mid. They're not gonna make any improvements until, you know, they see a movement, or they see the community standing together. But hey, the community will never be united as one, because there's gonna be people who are objective and they can be like, hey, what they're doing right now, they're messing up. We need some change here. There's gonna be there's gonna be those kind of people. There's also gonna be people who are like, hey, there's nothing wrong with the game. The game is perfect. 3.0 is a 10 out of 10. 3.0 is better than Wuthering Waves 2.0, better than Zenizone Zero's latest patch as well. It's like people like that are the reason why Honkai Star Rail is only gonna go down from here, in my opinion. I don't see them saving the game, because I feel like they're just gonna make even more busted character after busted character, and even units like the Hertha, Acheron, Firefly, Fei Shao, they're gonna be useless in a couple of patches. And it's like, man, yeah, it was a great discussion. It was great talking to you, if I can speak. If it's great talking to you, appreciate the convo. If you wanna plug your stuff, you can plug yourself real quick, and I'll put your links in the description.
Yeah, I'm a new content creator, guys. I got reached out by the one. He told me that he enjoyed my commentary, and I look forward to being able to talk more with him. We actually just partnered in our server, so we're gonna be able to do more collabs in the future, talking about really interesting topics, especially since I also do commentary.
Yeah.
So I look forward to talking to him, because it's really nice to have someone who's just based, and honestly really fun to talk with. So
appreciate it,
go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, peace.